Happy 2025, everyone. I'm DSP, and this is the first episode of the Level 1 podcast of the new year, and we've got a fireworks show going on. I hope that you're excited for 2025. I am. I want to talk today about the year that was, what actually went down in 2024, because let me tell you, it was an interesting year for many different reasons. Started off really confusing when it came to games, and then midway through picked up and went crazy by the end. So it's going to be a really fun, reminiscing episode, plus some exciting announcements and new stuff on the horizon. We've got big updates and positive, big improvements. Let's talk about all of it here on the very first episode of 2025 of the Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the show. I'm Darkside Phil. This is the Level 1 podcast, here live on DSPGaming or on DSPGaming Reel, respectively on YouTube and Kick. And welcome to the fireworks show. It is a new year. Everything has reset. The set has reset. The animations have reset. The attitude has remained positive. Everything right now is going well. And I'm excited for a whole new year of content with you. Thank you for the year that was of 2024. It was an amazing year. It was a fun year. It was a great year. Although, admittedly, it started off slow and wasn't looking so good. But then things turned around, and now, as you can see, holy crap, what a difference. I'm excited, and I hope that you guys are too. In fact, I have a picture that I wanted to show you, but I accidentally closed the app. I'll try to get it open here live. Where is it on my desktop? It's literally not there. That's great. Okay. So just to show you a little bit of a change over the years here. Oh. Take a look at this. So, you want to talk about change. You want to talk about improvement. Here is me on this show over the last 4 years and how dramatically different things are with the level of improvements. As you can see, in 2022, it was the dark ages. It looked like basically, there was no real light in the room. It was probably like sunlight coming through my blinds. I had a very low-end blurry webcam that was a decade old. I had a background that was consistent of a bunch of boxes of consoles that everyone made fun of me for. I was still wearing gaming t-shirts constantly, the likes of which I had had for about 10 years. And it was pretty much me being outdated. And that's honestly kind of how I was known for a very, very long time. In 2023, I started with some improvements. I decided to actually try to have a background on my show that would be somewhat visually appealing. As you can see back then, I actually did have the ghost light from Pac-Man, but I was using the 8-bit artwork behind me back then to basically fill the space. 2024 is when there started to be some big improvements. As you can see, number one, I did have a webcam upgrade. It's not what I'm using today, but there was a webcam upgrade that allowed the visuals to be better and have better, not only color, but lighting. I had a ring light at that point instead of this stupid like dorm room light that I was using for a good decade. And as you can see, colors popping, actually had a little bit of backlight LEDs at that point. And now, of course, today, completely and utterly revamped and different. A popping background with crazy RGB lights, visually appealing stuff, me actually dressing up like a normal human. What a change in just a few years. You know what I mean? Like, I realized that I was known as the dinosaur, the guy that kind of just stuck to his way and didn't really improve and didn't really branch out and didn't really do much else but play games all day. But now things are very different, right? And that's a good thing. Change is good as long as it's positive improvement. And there have been quite a lot of positive improvements over the last several years. I'm very happy for that. Thank you all. You're the ones who got me here to this level. And thank you for your patience. Now it's time to enjoy all of the fruits of the labor, as they say. You know, all that hard work and dedication and sticking with it and putting up with the abuse that I got for so many years is now paying off. Because take a look at what we're doing today, right? It's so amazing. So in regards to, oh, it's funny, Skinny Pete says you can see your stubble getting whiter throughout the years. That's what happens when you get older. You actually start to have, you know, gray or white or silver hair. It's a natural thing that humans have, you know. So let's take a look, shall we? Take a look behind me. What we have here is a completely streamlined background. As you can see, no 8-bit art. And you might say, well, why not? You know, the 8-bit art's really nice looking. You've been using it for like 2 years straight. What happened? Well, as you can see, my background is crazy good now. If we're, you know, talking this very, very nice to look at soundproofing Elgato foam, or the crazy amount of like lights and things that I have now. You want to see the background, don't you? So obviously, if I have a bunch of 8-bit art up, you can't see what I set up. Why would I spend all this time and money setting up this display if you can't see it? So obviously, I was like, you know what? Definitely for January, we have to do minimalist. Let's do a minimalist background so that you can see the wall and you can see the light show. Every day will be a different kind of light style here on the show. And today, fireworks to celebrate the coming of 2025 and the new year. I'm sure many of you probably saw a real life fireworks show last night, right? That's cool. I saw some of it with my wife. We were watching some of the Seattle fireworks that they do at the Space Needle, and we could hear them. There was like 3 or 4 different fireworks shows around us last night, and they were all going off loud all night. So sadly, we couldn't stay up to really do much because my wife had to go to sleep because she had to work early this morning. It's where she is right now. So it is what it is. You know, we didn't really do much to celebrate, but at least we got to hear some fireworks. So in the background, we've got the Pac-Man Ghost now with my crown on. Obviously, we have the Divoom Pixu 64 frame that'll have New Year's themed animations. At least I would say for the first half of the month. We'll see if I change it up halfway through or not. You might say, what is this guy? So this is interesting. That is a portal gun replica, although it's not full scale. At one point, I actually did have a full scale portal gun replica, and it was expensive. It was like $400. I bought that over a decade ago, and I had it as a prop that I was going to use in one of my shows, but it never came to fruition, and I ended up selling it off. This one is a miniature prop replica of a portal gun from the game Portal 2 from Valve. How did I get it? Well, funny story. Way back in the day, I used to buy all of my video games from GameStop. That's right, the retail video game chain. Pretty much every Tuesday morning, which is the day when historically games would come out in the United States about a decade ago, I would drive to my local GameStop and I would line up and buy all the new games for the week, usually in one fell swoop. You know, usually there'd be 2 to 3 games every week that I'd be interested in covering for YouTube. And after doing that, I was part of their, what was it called? The Power Up Club, Power Up Rewards. That's what it was called. And you had to pay for it to be part of the premium club. But basically, you would accumulate points over time for purchases and for trade-ins. Because what I would do is I would play through a game within 2-3 days and then beat it. So within a week, I'd have like 2-3 games completed, and I would go back the next Tuesday and trade in all the games that I had beaten. So some weeks, I was spending $100, $200, $300, but then the next week I would trade it back in and get like half my credit back. It was a good way to go about things. Of course, today, the entire trade-in industry collapsed. You can't really get much for trade-ins anymore, so it doesn't really make sense to even buy a physical copy. But the reason I'm bringing this up is when you bought games and traded in games at GameStop, you would accumulate these reward points. And I basically never touched them. Like, I just let them sit there for like years. So after like 2-3 years of doing that as a YouTuber, I had accumulated like hundreds of thousands of points. And this was the top reward that you could redeem them for, was this Portal replica gun. Now, I literally never used it. It sat in a box for over a decade. I had it in storage. I had it in my closet here. Finally, I'm like, oh, it's time to bring it out. Let's actually have it on display, which is really neat. So I opened it up and it actually has batteries. Like, oh, you got to put batteries in this thing? What does it do? So I put in the 3 AA batteries. I screw it together. I press the button. It's dead. It's dead. I literally never used it and it's dead. I seem to remember like a decade ago, I tested it, maybe even on camera. Maybe I did a video of testing it. I'm sure people will now scour my videos to find this. And I swear it worked. I swear I remember it like lit up or something. But yeah, in this regard, I don't know why it broke. I haven't touched it, So, yeah, it's cool, at least for the set. I wish it worked. It would be nice if it would be glowing like orange or blue right now, like I think it was supposed to, but it doesn't seem to work. On my left, the game over sign, and of course, decided for extra fanciness this month, I'll bring back the Tesla coil lamp from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance in 2012. It was the collector's edition of that game 13 years ago. Yes, it still works very nicely. So what a display we have this month. As you can see, no big 8-bit art, no giant things kind of standing out. I want the background to show. And of course, as you can see, my new microphone right there, and I've got it in a good position, kind of like off camera and not taking up space. So looks good, does it not? Now also, Rigatoni, I replaced the batteries. Did you just replace the battery? I replaced the batteries. I put new batteries in. It doesn't work. I don't know why. I guess it busted itself or just wasn't well wired to begin with. Who knows, right? So good stuff there. And I'm excited. Now, also, all of the animations have now been changed around to new animations. Now, when I say new, they're all existing animations that you've seen, but it's in an interesting shuffle. Like, over the years, I've accumulated so many different animations. I've got ones of me from back in the day dancing around or doing a chair spin. I've got ones of, me looking like the characters from Yakuza. I got ones with me looking like the characters from Street Fighter. So what I've done is I basically picked the best ones of all of those animations and kind of put it together as an amalgamation. So now, no matter how you contribute, whether it's a super chat or a super sticker here on YouTube, whether it's a sub or a gifted sub over on Kick, or whether you're tipping through PayPal, which obviously applies to everything, you'll see a different style of animation for every level, and that's really cool that now we've got the variety going. Sadly, the holidays are over, and it is a sad time when Christmas ends, and the Christmas season. It's a good season. I love it. It's my favorite time of the year, but it's time to move forward positively, all right? And before we do reminisce on the year that was 2024, I would like to tell you very briefly, because I don't have concrete details set yet, but I would like to tell you about some of the awesome stuff that's coming up relatively very quickly in 2025, okay? First off, as I already told you guys, my year-end series are coming. I have to now begin work on them. The good news is the set is done. The studio is upgraded. I'm not doing any more technical nonsense. I'm done with this. What it is what it is, and we're going to move forward positively with all the new stuff, okay? Now that I'm done tackling upgrades and technical stuff every day, I can work on the year-end series, all right? So what are the year-end series? Number one, the most disappointing games of the year countdown, where I go through the games that I feel were disappointing to me. To clarify, because I have to do this every year, this is not the worst games of the year countdown, all right? I'm not going out of my way to find the worst games of the year and slam them. I want to tell you about the games that I played that I wished were better or that were supposedly at some point good, but then ended up disappointing me. For those who actually watch my content pretty regularly, you probably can think of in your heads a couple games this last year that maybe I was enjoying, and then all of a sudden I just stopped enjoying. Well, that's exactly the kind of game that's going to be in that countdown. All right. So this is going to be exciting, and I hope that you guys are excited for that. And that's going to be coming very soon. And then in addition to that, there's the other countdown, my Game of the Year awards, where basically I go through my games that I feel were the best games of the year. And I rank them. And then you get to find out what was my favorite game of 2024. Now, I've done these in various different ways over the years. This used to be an on-demand video series that basically I just uploaded to YouTube. Now, that was back in the day when I used to video edit and do all that stuff, okay? Then I became a full-time streamer in 2017, and I stopped video editing, and then everything was live streamed. So basically what I would do is stream at night where I would say, okay, it's the most disappointing games countdown, and play a clip of the game and talk over it and tell you why it was disappointing, okay? Now, in truth, I would like to do an edited video series again with voiceovers, with all my fancy tech. I could do it. I have DaVinci Resolve, and I'm learning it, and actually I'm learning it pretty well to the point where I think that I could probably put together a nice series edited for you. The issue is, if I do that, then I can't stream. So the question is, do you want me to take time off from streaming, like several nights? There would probably be at least 2 nights off from streaming to sit down and work on those countdowns and have edited offline videos? Or would you prefer if I just live streamed it like I've done for years? That's the question, okay? And I'd like to hear your opinions on it, all right? I'm curious what your thoughts are, right? So, and here's the thing. Immediately already, I see that there's people who have mixed opinions on it. See? Here's some of the mixed opinions. I'm going to read them right out of chat. But the amount of support that you would miss out on isn't worth it. Right. The majority of my support that comes in is during live streams. My on-demand videos, do they get views? Yes. Do they bring in a lot of revenue? It depends. Overall, all of my videos together get a good amount of views that bring in ad revenue for me every month. But it's not like one particular video blows things out of the water. I haven't had a viral video in a very long time. Okay. So, that's the thing. Very well, what could happen is I work several nights on these edited videos. I put them out for you. And then guess what? Doesn't get a lot of views. I would even tell you, I feel like even if I worked hard on this, year-end series, and I put out 2 big videos, one is the most disappointing games countdown, and one is, Game of the Year awards or whatever, I would bet at most the videos would get a couple thousand views. And guess how much money that makes you on YouTube? $5. I'm not kidding you. A 2,000 view video on YouTube makes you around $5 in ad revenue. So is it worth me taking several nights off to edit and work on these videos to then release them and make $5 each? I think you can see why I became a full-time live streamer, okay? I loved being an on-demand YouTuber. I did. I thought that having this library of on-demand content at all times was an awesome thing. I still enjoy the fact that I archive my live streams as on-demand videos, but the profitability of that fell away a long time ago because YouTube dropped the ball. YouTube screwed their own business up. They lost their major ad revenue, advertisers, and you had to change. Had to change for the better, and I did. So I think I will do it as a live streaming series this year. Now, I'm not saying that long term I won't try to change things to a little different. In fact, to be honest, I would like to start doing edited content. As I've told you, one of the things I would like to do is start editing the daily highlights here on the channel. Now, I haven't done a daily highlight in several days because I've been so busy with other things. Like I had to get this background set up and technical issues and upgrades and all this. But what I'd like to do is try to find a highlight, whether it's something that happened exciting during this podcast or something that happened during gameplay, and making a highlight of that and releasing it on the channel. Or if I'm doing content for another channel, like let's say I'm doing content for DSP Reacts, whether it's the politics show or DSP Tries It or something else that's coming up that we're going to talk about in a sec, then I can basically work on that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm thinking about it, and let's see what happens. All right. But I want to get better at editing again. I want to be able to jump into DaVinci Resolve and just pop out a video within like a half an hour. That's a pretty decent video. So let's see how it goes. All right. But for now, yes, year-end series will be live streamed. Now you might say, well, when will they be live streamed? Well, I was thinking of doing it probably smack dab in the middle of next week. But something else has happened. Not aware. Monday Night Raw, the WWE wrestling show, is moving to Netflix next Monday, January 6th. It's their big premiere show. It's the one everyone will be watching and talking about. They're moving to this new company, you know, and the production values are going to change and all kinds of big things shuffling up. If you're not aware, I've been in discussions with Ashton from Kino Casino about doing a pro wrestling commentary show, okay? We are now talking about it actively, and we are likely going to start doing this show probably next week. If we're going to do it, it makes sense to time it with the launch, or I should say relaunch, of Monday Night Raw on Monday. So I'm talking with him right now, and we're going to work out details of how it's going to work. And within the next few days, I should be able to let you know when it's going to happen. Really, it's not what we're going to do during the show that's in question. It's this simple. We're going to be commenting on everything that happens on Monday Night Raw and any kind of pay-per-view events that happen. So I guess I'm going to be getting Netflix, and I guess it's Peacock where the pay-per-view events are going to happen. They're not even pay-per-views, right? What do they call them now? There's a word for them now, right? They're not even pay-per-views. I forget what they're called. So I think we're going to be covering those probably once a week. You know, it really depends on our schedules too. I got to talk to them about it. So it's not the show that's in question. It's how to do it. Like, for example, here's some of the questions to ask, right? So do we live stream it only on Kick? Or do we co-live stream it on Kick and on YouTube? Where do we stream it? Do we stream it on his channel? Do we stream it on my channel? Do we stream it on a combination of channels? Do we leave it on demand after the fact? Or do we just have it as an archive somewhere like you do on Kick? You just leave your archive for a week. Do we clip the show and put clips somewhere? When we broadcast it, how does it work? You know, obviously we're going through Discord, right? But I got to figure out the logistics of how to make that happen. Remember, I bought a second webcam, and I should be able to have two webcams here. One would be a camera for my streaming setup, and the other would be the camera that whoever's on Discord can see me on. And this way there's no conflict, and it would be high quality for both ends. So we have all these things to figure out within a relatively short period of time, because if Monday Night Raw is on Monday, people are obviously going to want this show quick after it. You're not going to want to have to wait 2 weeks to see our first show about that. You're going to want to see it relatively soon, right after the launch of Raw. So we're talking about it right now, and I will let you know when we have figured stuff out, okay? So if you like pro wrestling, and you know I have been out of the loop of pro wrestling since 2020, so 4 years, I have not been paying attention to pro wrestling. For the first time in 4 freaking years, I'm actually going to start paying attention to it again and giving you my honest opinions about it, okay? Now, I don't know how it's going to go. Now, here's what I mean by that. I have no concept how many people are going to show up, how many people are going to watch, how many people are going to support. No idea. This could be a show that does really well because people want to hear our opinions on wrestling. This could also be a show that completely tanks and no one cares about. I would hope it's the former and not the latter. But you don't know till you try something new, right? And I mean, it's 2025. Let's try some new stuff. Okay, so likely next week, the premiere of our wrestling commentary show, me and Ashton working together. It's going to be exciting, but I don't have details yet. We are going to work on these and talk them out, and I will let you know once we figure them out, probably over the next several days. and then we can start to get hyped for it. I would say it would be as early as Tuesday the 7th, but I don't want to promise Tuesday the 7th because we don't have stuff worked out yet. So let us talk, figure it out, and then I'll get back to you. Okay? Cool. All right. So there you go. I mean, how exciting. Already the year is beginning, and we've got the year-end series right around the corner, and we've got a pro wrestling show that's about to launch. Pretty exciting, huh? But there's something else exciting happening too. If you haven't even taken a look yet down here, because I haven't even talked about this yet, and you might say, wait, we're 22 minutes into a podcast and Phil didn't talk about money? Yeah, because I actually don't just sit here and talk about money all day, despite the fact that a lot of idiots say that. As you might say, like, wait a minute, what does that say? 39? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was one of my best streaming days. Very long time. Last night during the Street Fighter 6 stream, we raised 4 goals in one stream. 4. And that was gifted memberships, gifted subs, and tips. It was all 3 things together. So people on the YouTube side got a bunch of memberships. People on the Kick side got a bunch of subs. So you might have gotten a notification this morning, you got a gifted membership or sub. You're like, whoa, what? People were actually like typing it in my comments. Wow, it's been months. And all of a sudden I got a gifted membership last night. Thanks so much. Yeah, as you know, I did kind of have a big downgrade, sadly, when it comes to the amount of members and subs and things that I've had. And last night, boom, giant amounts of generosity and gifting. So a ton of people got new gifted memberships or subs. So enjoy them if you got them. Now, because we hit 4 goals, ladies and gentlemen, we're at 39. You realize we're only 1 goal away from locking in to a new DSP Tries It. So what is the DSP Tries It? I revealed this to you a couple days ago. There's a new restaurant opening up this Friday, 1 block away from me. And it's a Mexican place that's kind of fast foody, but not. It's called California Burrito and Taco Shop. And what they do is kind of like not restaurant quality, but also not like Taco Bell crap. It's kind of middle of the line, big burritos, tacos, taco salads, everything that's Mexican style. And they have a big grand opening plan. That's it. Why not, for an awesome DSP Tries It, I try this brand spanking new restaurant on the day they open. All right. Now, the only thing is, I don't know if they're going to be doing delivery on their launch day, right? I mean, it's their opening day. Maybe they won't want to do delivery because they're afraid they're going to have too many orders. So perhaps I might have to drive over there that day. All right. We'll see. I got to take a look and see if they're taking orders or not and figure it out. But FYI, I would absolutely love to do this on Friday as the new DSP Tries It. We are literally 1 goal away. So as soon as we hit $150 on a stream, we have locked in. And then, folks, this is the exciting thing. Now we have to start talking about goal 50. Because if you're not aware, goal 50 is a huge milestone. When we hit 50 goals hit, it is time for a themed marathon event. That is right. And a couple days ago, I posted up a thread live on this show where you guys have started to nominate the kind of themed marathon that you would like to see. Let's take a quick look. At what you've posted up as what you'd like to do. So scrolling down here. Here it is. So here's some of the examples of things that people have already suggested. Rageathon, a Donathon, a marathon where you play a game you want and donate a 1-to-1 to a charity of choice for every new membership. What? I'm not doing a charity stream. It's not a charity event. I may do charity events coming up. In 2025, I want to experiment with new stuff, and I very well may plan a charity event. It's not a charity event. I don't know. Anyway, community game night. Play games that have fun, casual multiplayer vibes and games with the audience. Well, again, this is supposed to be a gaming marathon all day. This is not going to be that kind of an event, but I may do that in the future too, okay? Play Dino Crisis. We could, that's an interesting idea. I could play Dino Crisis all day. I could literally, since people have wanted Dino Crisis for so many years and I never could make it happen, okay, I could just play Dino Crisis all day long and make giant headway into the playthrough. How cool could that be? I'd totally be okay with that. What about a Street Fighter Bonanza? You play through each Street Fighter single player in order, maybe do some online if the lobbies are online. I have done that already. Like when that old Street Fighter collection came out many years ago, I played through all the games in that collection. So I'm not honestly sure how I would make that happen. If it would feel more like a repeat. I do like the idea of playing through a series of games, but I guess we'd have to figure out how we could make that happen. A cooking stream? No. Boy, people don't listen. Panel show? No, it's not a panel show. We're talking about a marathon. Would I marathon The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? Well, I've played it once before. If you remember, I played Ocarina of Time many, many years ago when it had the port to the 3DS. I played the 3DS port, and I had a good time with it. It was a little frustrating of a game, but I did enjoy it. I don't know if there's a way to play it modern, except I think if you get the Switch Premium online subscription, then can you get it digitally on your Switch? So it would be more of a issue of what's the accessibility of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I guess. Play Project Zomboid now that the new build is out. It's an indie game. Is it rage-inducing? Yes. All right. A Project Zomboid Marathon. I think a retro marathon is due. We had an indie marathon recently. That's true. I have played indie games a good amount recently. We haven't played retro games in a very long time. For example, we could do some really challenging games like the classic Mega Mans or Ninja Gaiden or the Marios, stuff that's challenging. And maybe I could challenge myself to do set goals and things in a certain time frame. I'm just saying. That's an interesting idea. Retro. Someone else had suggested retro. How about a PC-centric game marathon where you can try 2 or 3 popular PC games that you've never played? Indie or not, examples, League of Legends, Total War, and RimWorld, etc. Yeah, I would say that's a viable suggestion as well. So these are some of the suggestions. Someone just said, retro again. These are some of the suggestions. I would say out of the suggestions, Rageathon is very viable, okay? Dino Crisis Day, like a whole day of just playing Dino Crisis, I would really be down for. Because this is a playthrough everyone's wanted for the longest time, and now you're going to get basically 8 hours of Dino Crisis in one day. That could be pretty crazy, right? I mean, it would be nuts to play that much of one game in one day, but I'm down for it. I've never played the game. It's my first time experience with the game. There's going to be a lot of rage and death, right? So there you go. Then I would say retro. So Rageathon, Dino Crisis, retro, or PC Day. Those are the 4 viable examples. I would say, okay. So out of those 4, what do you guys want more? Let's think about it again, right? Each one. Well, Rageathon is always fun, but you'd have to find new rage-inducing games that you think would piss me off. I'm not even sure what those would be because I haven't been up on a lot of indie games and the like, but I have a gaming PC now and I can play anything. So I'm sure you guys could probably nominate a ton of games I've never even heard of that would piss me off, right? Retro. Dude, I'm always down for retro games. And ever since I launched DSP Throwback last year, a lot of people have asked me, hey, Phil, are you ever going to play retro games? Play throwback games. Be an opportunity to start with that, right? The PC idea is great too. Like other PC games that maybe I've never touched that I could give a shot and see what they're like. I just don't know how big of an audience I have for PC exclusive gaming because I've never been a PC exclusive gamer in my entire time being on YouTube. So now to do a stream like that, I don't know how viable that would be and how much people would like it. I think the Dino Crisis Marathon, I think some people would absolutely love the Dino Crisis Marathon. Okay, I really believe that. But I don't know if the Dino Crisis Marathon would work for a good amount of people to attend the marathon and support it. What do you think? Do you think people would show up for a Dino Crisis Marathon and support the marathon? Because it's just, when I do these marathons, essentially it's the same as a normal day. Instead of just doing 2 separate streams, I'm doing one continuous stream all day in the hopes that I would have enough support to support that day as if it were 2 normal streams. Hey, if you could, hey, yeah, of course you'll make around $300 that day. Then I'm down with it. But if it's like, yeah, you're going to play Dino Crisis, but only 200 people are going to show up, and everyone else is going to say, oh, Dino Crisis sucks because it's an old game and we don't want to see it, and then they don't show up and they don't support, well, then that's not viable, right? So I'm not sure, right? What do you guys think? AMS says, I think it would start out with good support, but people would probably get bored of 8 hours on just one game. Fair enough, but this is a one-time thing. It's not like we have to do 8-hour increments of this game moving forward. The first session is 8 hours, and then normal streams after to finish the playthrough. What do you guys think? All right, so how about this? We really need to start talking about this seriously because it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Guys, we're one stream away from hitting 40, and then in about a week, we'll probably hit 50. So we may be doing this marathon by mid-January, which I'm happy for. By the way, I'm excited. Thank you all. You guys have supported me so much in the last several weeks. When we relaunched the whole idea of goals not being streaks, but instead just hit a goal, add one to the count, do incremental rewards, a lot of people were skeptical. Can we now collectively agree this is working well? This is working really well. I think this is one of the best ideas we've ever implemented because there's no pressure every single stream to be hitting a goal, but then some streams we can have an abundance of generosity and it all counts towards rewards, and people are very happy with that. People are happy to know that when they contribute, it's all counting. It's not, a stream where we hit the goal now, it doesn't matter what we get at over that. No, everything counts now. How awesome is that, right? So, all right, so here's what we do. Let's continue to talk about this over the next, I don't know, week. It'll be about a week and a half for us to hit 50 and then get this marathon, scheduled. Fair enough. Let's keep talking about it. I'm down for those ideas, but I really got to listen to what you have to say. I would say the front runners for me out of all that stuff, like what do I like to do the most? Probably either Dino Crisis, because that's a game I've never played and I've always wanted to play because you guys told me it was so good. Or probably the retro game. Like that's my taste, but that doesn't mean that's what we have to do or that's what's going to be successful. That's just my personal taste. Understand? So anyway, now in regards to the 50 goals, all right? Thank you. Within one more goal, we lock into this DSP Tries It for Friday. So let's do that as soon as possible. Oh, by the way, I should bring this up too. Just because we hit milestone 50 doesn't mean you don't get a DSP Tries It. You do. When we hit milestone 50, you're getting a marathon and a DSP Tries It live during said marathon. You get a double reward when we hit 50. Get it? How cool is that? All right, so that means we have to figure out what's the next thing that's going to be the DSP Tries It after I try out this new restaurant, likely on Friday. Okay? Cool. So we got to figure this out. What do you want to do? Let's talk about it. We got to, what other options do we have? And obviously we can't do everything in one day. We'll probably maybe tackle some of this stuff tomorrow. Okay? So there you go. All right. Good stuff. Let's actually get to some shout outs. A couple of contributions have come in. Let's get that momentum rolling today to get to goal 40. Let's hit goal 40 on this stream. Let's do it. Let's crush it. Let's hit it today so that we can actually do that DSP Tries It on Friday, and then we can start working on the marathon. Okay? So let's get some shout outs here. Let's take a look. First contribution of the day is a 420 tip. Ever since I went to Windows 11, the way that things work is a little different, and I really don't understand it. Like, all I want to do right now is stretch my window out, and it won't stretch out. I'm trying, and it just won't stretch. What is going on? Why can't I stretch my window? From Lady Charisma. All right, so hold on. Let me do a nice animation for you. Our first, ladies and gentlemen, our first tip of 2025, Lady Charisma. Thank you, Lady Charisma. So, Lady Charisma says the following. To give you a heads up, you can watch short recaps of SmackDown and NXT on YouTube now. WWE uploads recaps of those week's shows. You can catch up on the big plot lines without filler. It's like an 8 to 10 minute video. I can't wait to see your reviews on the change to WWE. It feels like a whole new product. This is back in 2020. I know there will be support. Oh no, I will be there to support if I'm not working during the stream. Cool. And again, I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be yet. Ideally, it makes sense to do it like right after Raw. Obviously not that night, but maybe the next day. But, we got to figure out the logistics of it, and I'll let you know. Okay? Excellent. Thank you, Lady Charisma, for the heads up. Likely for those kind of like recaps, we'll watch that. I feel like doing the Raw recap is the major focus, and then maybe we can briefly talk about the other shows depending on time. Definitely when the big events happen, I guess that's what those are on Peacock. Those are the things a lot of people want to hear commentary on, like what happened at the big event, right? So those are like kind of a must watch. Okay. I received a $1.50 tip. Project Zomboid is a 3D top-down, procedurally generated zombie survival game. Very steep learning curve, but incredibly addicting. PC Day is my vote. I don't think the 8 hours of one retro game would keep anyone's attention. So, there you go. This person is interested in PC-centric marathon. I'm okay with that. I'm literally okay with any of those marathons. They all sound fun to me. They really do. Like, they all sound interesting. You know what I'm shocked at is no one said, like a Dark Souls challenge run marathon, because I had presented that. I said, hey, we would like a challenge run in Dark Souls or mods of Dark Souls. No one said that. I mean, we're going to try to do it tomorrow. We got to talk about that in a moment. What mods and stuff to do. We have 2 topics left for today. Topic number 1, I want to reminisce a little bit about 2024. And topic number 2, I want to talk about these Dark Souls mods because I kind of want to start it tomorrow. Okay. Okay. I received a $2 tip. What console should I get? PS5 or Xbox X? What console should I get? PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X? I'm currently on PC since 2019. Well, first off, okay. The top line consoles, PS5 Pro or Xbox Series X, you really only need those if you're going to play above 1080p resolution. If you're only playing 1080p resolution, I'm not kidding you, the Xbox Series S is good enough. It runs everything at 60 frames at 1080p. The consoles are severely overpowered this gen because everyone's like, oh, 4K, 4K. But if you're not playing in 4K, you don't need it. Okay. Now, if you think you'll play at 4K, then base level PS5 is okay. PS5 Pro is the better option because you can play 4K at 60 frames per second, at least in my experience. I've tested various games and they're all running well on the PS5 Pro. Xbox Series X will run games at 4K, but not at 60 frames. So it's kind of like the Series S is 1080p, 60 frames. The Series X / PS5 are 4K 30 frames. And then if you want top of the line, 4K 60 frames, you need the Pro. Okay? Now, if you're asking between the 2 consoles what's better, neither is better. There have not been enough console exclusives this console generation for there to warrant a console war winner. I don't think there is a console war winner. I think there have been some great exclusives on PlayStation, like the God of War series. At the same time, if you get Game Pass on Xbox, you're getting an incredible value. You're going to get a giant library of games for a small monthly subscription fee, and you're going to get games new continuously. But you're going to miss out on the Sony exclusives. So what's more important to you? Is it a bigger game library for cheaper? Is it playing the exclusives as few as they are when they come out? That should be your determining factor. So hopefully that little mini buyer's guide has helped you to make your decision. Okay. Very cool. All righty. Will I cover the unfortunate events in New Orleans for DS Politics? I don't know because they're unfolding right now. No one even knows what's really going on with them. Right? You're talking about the person who drove into a crowd of people in a truck and, everyone's wondering what in the holy hell happened. Some people might be terrorism. Until we have information, you can't really say much about it, right? It's unfortunate. It's sad. You don't ever want to hear those stories. It's terrible that it happened. I wish the best for those people involved. That's all I can really say until more information, right? Excuse me. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to do now is talk a little bit about the year that was. All right. Last year, 2024. What a year. Like, holy crap, what a year 2024 was, right? First off, year started off very uncertain. The reason I say that is because when on paper, when you were looking at 2024 as like a gaming year, you didn't know what was going to happen. You know, we had certain games that were lined up that looked like they could be great. Like for me, I remember when the year started, people were like, oh, what's the games you're most excited for? And I was like, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and what else? I think there's like 3 games. I think I said Elden Ring Shadows of the Erd Tree or Shadow of the Erd Tree, right? Like that was my big 3 that I was mentioning I thought I was excited for. And then everything else was kind of an X factor. Like what would be good, what wouldn't be good, like no one really knew. When the year started, okay, it was very, very slow and uncertain. I remember in January, we had Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I started playing it. And at first, I really liked it, but then basically it didn't really catch on with the audience. A lot of people thought that it was too winded. You know, Yakuza games are very lengthy and dragged out. And being that it was a turn-based RPG, didn't really catch on, and a lot of people were kind of burned out because I was also playing Baldur's Gate 3. So now playing 2 ginormously long, slow-paced, turn-based RPGs essentially was killing the audience, right? So I jumped into Tekken 8 because people wanted me to try a new fighting game, and I did. And I basically really enjoyed Tekken 8. The thing is, I had invested an insane amount of time in Street Fighter 6, and I played Tekken 8 for about a month and a half, and I got really good with Yoshimitsu. If you remember, my base characters I always use in Tekken are like Paul and King. I've always used those 2 in every Tekken game, and I was doing pretty good. But then I actually went to Yoshimitsu, and I actually really liked him. Albeit though, I don't think he was top tier, but I do feel like he was a strong, like mid-tier character. Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a Tekken competitive player or whatever, but I felt like he was decent, right? And I was having a good time with it. The graphics of the game were outstanding, right? My problem with the game, a couple issues. Issue number 1 was definitely some of the connections were very questionable. Okay, I remember the most part the connections were good, but then every once in a while you get that string of bad connections, or they look good but then they're bad, and it could screw you over. But really my issue with the game was that game, when you hit a certain level, you immediately see the giant skill difference, right? Like it's like first you're low and everyone's a button masher, then you get mid and everyone knows some basic strategies around them. Then all of a sudden it's like there's this giant steeping climb up, and then it continues. So it's like for someone like me who's just getting back into Tekken for the first time in many years at any kind of a competitive level, it was like, okay, I learned the basics. I learned the mid techniques. All right, time to learn the advanced stuff. Oh, fuck. I can't climb. I'm slipping. I can't get up this incredibly steep mountain, right? It was like it was greased. You're like clamoring to try to hold on. You're sliding down. And the truth is, if I had invested a lot more time into Tekken, like maybe if I had played it 3-4 times a week, 3-4 nights a week, I probably would have gotten really good at it. And I probably would have liked it even more, honestly. You know, I was getting good with June, and then Yoshimitsu was really picking up, and I was learning top-tier strategies and the like. But you get to the point where now it became so specific to learning matchups, to learning little intricacies. Like, the best example, you'd be like, well, this character has a completely safe hit string where he hits mid 4 times in a row. And unless you interrupt perfectly with a frame-timed jab, they can immediately just do it again and again, and literally that's the whole round. So I need to sit there and practice the perfect timing for a 1-frame jab to interrupt. And if I can't get the jab, I lose. Yeah, that's Tekken 8. I mean, that's been Tekken for a long time, actually. It's like this when you get to that level, you need to know the little nuance of how to stop certain abusable tactics. And not everyone has that time or desire. And quite frankly, no, I didn't feel like that was going to be worth my time, especially because as I was playing Tekken 8, after about a month of it, people were asking, where's Street Fighter? And I kept saying, well, I can't play 2 competitive fighting games at the same time. I'm not just an FGC guy. I do variety. If I play more than one fighting game at a time, you're talking 2-3 streams of each a week. That's more than half my streaming schedule. Now, how do I ever play other games, right? So I had to only play one fighting game, and for me, it was Tekken at the time. But then people were complaining, where's Street Fighter? So that was kind of the catch-22, was I couldn't play one and then the other, and people were then craving Fighter 6 again. So I played it for about a month and a half. I loved it. I had to drop it. What else could I do, right? So then we got into some of the other games of the year. You know, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I liked. The audience didn't. Or Dragon's Dogma 2, which I was skeptical about playing, but then everyone said I should play, so I did, and then no one liked it. You know? And that was kind of par for the course of last year. If there was an action-based game, people usually liked it. And if it was anything else, slow-paced, RPG-esque, everyone hated it. It was the year of RPG overload. And I'm sorry. I feel like if it was a different year and these RPGs had been spaced out, like if you actually look on paper at all these games, right? Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Persona 3, whatever it was, Reload or whatever the hell it was called. I don't even know what it was called. You know, Dragon's Dogma 2. All of them kind of make sense on paper. But when you have them all releasing within a 3-month window, how on earth is anyone to enjoy them when they're such insanely long, attention-demanding experiences? Each one of the games I just mentioned, at a minimum, takes 60 hours to beat. Some of them take 80 to 100 hours to beat. That's a lot of time investment. How do you juggle more than one of those at once? The answer is you don't. You literally don't. So all these games being out during this time frame, so close, literally killed the market. Again, I explained this to everyone in January of last year. I said, this is going to happen. And everyone said, oh, no, that won't happen. Guess what happened? Literally, the market bottom fell out for RPGs. A game like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which everyone thought was going to be a smash hit, undersold and underperformed. What a shocker. You can't just nonstop release the same type of game 40 times in 3 months and expect that they're all going to sell. I said the same thing. I said it's not the genre specifically, it's that there's too much of the same genre. It seems like everyone wants to release an RPG now. I don't know why, but compare that to say, imagine if Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, and Tekken 8 all released within a 2-month window. They would have cannibalized each other. There's just not enough time and demand and money to go around in the market to support 3 AAA fighting games within 2 months. They would have all suffered in sales because of it. And that's what's happened with RPG overload in 2024. Okay? And that was the first, arguably, 4 months of the year, was just this crazy RPG overload. So then what happened? I said, guys, I have to stop playing RPGs. I just have to cold turkey cut them out. And a lot of people had issue with that. You're not going to play Final Fantasy VII. You're not going to play Dragon's Dogma. You're completely skipping this RPG and this RPG and this RPG. Yes, I can't just sit here and play RPGs all day. I would love to. I grew up playing RPGs. They're in my blood. Games like the Final Fantasy series, Chrono Trigger, Suikoden, Earthbound, classics, amazing games. Love them to death. But they just don't work that well as lengthy streaming games. Get it? I kid stream maybe 1 every few months, but you can't stream 2 at once, 3 at once. That's insanity. And I'm sorry, I can't just sit here and play the same kind of game either. Like, let's say, for example, when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out, I played it for 2 weeks straight, and that's all I played. So I might have almost beaten it within 2 weeks, and I would have had less than 100 viewers, no support, and I would have went out of business. That's just the nature of the beast. I know what works because I've been around for 16 years. You need variety. You can't just be doing the same game nonstop. People get burnt out. Okay, so that's it. And it's hilarious because every time that I say these very factual arguments, people say to me, well, that's not for you, Phil, because aren't you aware that Maximilian Dude was able to stream Final Fantasy VII? Maximilian Dude, the guy, million subs, insane amount of views, overhyped guy who literally could take a shit on stream and would make $100,000. Yeah, Maximilian Dude. That's not to scale, you buffoon. That's like, that's like saying a pseudo celebrity can play whatever game they want and make money. No shit. because people aren't there for the game. They're there for the celebrity appearance. I'm not a celebrity. I don't know how many of you know this yet. I'm not a celebrity. When you compare me to these people, you're insane. All right? You are. You're literally nuts. I will never be the level of Asmongold. I will never be the level of these people who you try to compare me to. I won't. All right? So you could stop with the bullshit. I have to do what works for me. I have to be a variety creator. All right? If I put all my eggs in one basket, I will not be successful. I have to spread myself across a variety so I can interest a different group of people that will come by to watch and support when I'm playing the kind of game that they like. But it can't be the same kind of game all the time. You know? So there you go. So anyway, yeah, so what happened was I stopped playing RPGs. And what happened is when I stopped playing RPGs, guess what happened? My views jumped. My support jumped. I started playing a good variety of games. I did a second run of Elden Ring to prepare for the Shadow of the Erdtree playthrough. I played a game like Another Crab's Treasure, a unique take on the whole Soulsborne formula, and it worked really well. You know, the more variety I played, the more it worked. And this just led into a spring and summer where I tackled more variety. I went back to games like Street Fighter 6 that I had kind of ignored for a long time, and things picked up. They did. I started doing more variety. For example, how can I say? Stardew Valley. Did I ever think Stardew Valley was going to work? No, but it did. Having a nice chill stream that we all relaxed into this sim game, social aspect, but you guys interacting with me and helping me to figure out what to do in it. Dude, Stardew Valley worked really well, and I really liked the game, and I'm actually looking forward to finally going back to it. Fallout had its TV series release, and when it did, it became a smash hit. So I played a Fallout 4 playthrough that at first did incredibly well, and then the hype for Fallout 4 died, and so did the playthrough, right? So I would argue the first 6 to 7 months of 2024 was definitely highs and lows. A really slow start with RPG Overload and Baldur's Gate 3, but then kind of recovering and coming back up. And then, of course, Kino Casino happened, right? Now, I want to give you guys a little bit of background because I've never told the full story. Are you ready for this? I'm going to tell you an exclusive story that no one knows. Ready? You guys had been coming by and talking to me about Kino Casino for a few months. Notably, Kino Casino started covering Review Tech USA. Everyone knows the obsession that Review Tech USA has with me, that he talks about me constantly, even to now. He literally did a Christmas Eve stream all about me. Totally not obsessive, right? So, Kino Casino had been basically talking about Review Tech in a very negative way. And people had asked me, well, have you ever watched their show? Have you heard about what they're saying about Review Tech? They seem to be the only people covering Review Tech in a negative light, while you have been harassed by this guy for years, been trying to talk about him and expose him, and no one cares what you say because, you know, you're a meme, you're a lol cow, right? And I was like, no, I don't know who Kino Casino is. I've never really heard of them. So after a few people kept coming by and mentioning them in my chat, I said, you know what? Just on a whim, this was like in July. I said, I'm going to check these guys out and see what they're all about. I'm curious because I never venture outside of my comfort zone, ever. I want to see what it is that people are talking about. So I went over to Kick one night and I checked out one of their archived streams. And I started seeing them talk about Rich, and I was like, wow, they are destroying this guy and they're exposing him for things I don't even know about. Because again, I don't pay attention to these guys. These people obsess about me. It's not the other way around. So who even knew that any of this stuff was going on, right? And then, of course, I watched them make fun of me. I watched them actually have clips about me. They said things about me. They said things about my wife, right? They said all these things. I'm like, man, so they seem to be pretty rough to everyone, right? And the funny part about it is, you know, someone like that, I get it. I totally get what they're doing. I do. And it's entertaining, too. Like, I was watching it, and I was laughing at the show, even when they were making fun of me, and I was like, you know, it's rough to hear people roast you. It is. You know, it's still entertainment. It's actually enjoyable. So I got it. I was like, you know what? Here's some guys who they've just started to talk about me, okay? They're just dipping their toe into the bullshit detractor sphere that's around Darkside Phil. I'm going to reach out to them. So I did. I actually at first DM'd them on Twitter. And I said, hey, are you guys the hosts of the Keno Casino show? I want to make sure that these are the right people I'm talking to. And it took a few days, but then actually they responded back. I think it was Ashton who actually responded back first. And he was like, yeah, this is really Ashton from the show. What's going on? You know, I'm surprised to hear from you. And we had a conversation back and forth a little bit. And basically the conversation was like, listen, I've seen your show. I've heard that you guys are making fun of me, but you're also like slamming review tech and all of this. And, just so you know, I'd be open to a conversation to talk about this kind of stuff, or whatever. And basically we kind of behind the scenes started having a convo that led to us have a shocking out of nowhere appearance on Keno Casino in early August. Now, you guys remember what happened. Everyone told me not to do it. Right here on this very show, I talked to you guys about it. And I was like, and you guys were like, no, don't do it. It's another side scrollers. It's another setup. You're going to get destroyed by these guys. That's all they want, right? So obviously I had that in my mind going into it, but I felt like at that point, okay, I need to do something different. I can't just sit here and do the same thing over and over. And this might be an opportunity. At the very least, even if it goes poorly, I'm sure a few people might get a laugh out of it. And maybe it would benefit some way. You know, the way I saw it, my detractors are going to do what they're going to do no matter what. And every once in a while, you got to take a shot at something. You know, it's kind of like, how can I say? In life, you're going to be treated badly by people. All right? It's just going to happen. It's inevitable. But just because you get treated badly by people, I'd like to think that you shouldn't just close yourself off and lose faith in general. Because if you do, you're going to miss out on so many positive opportunities in your life. Just because you had a bad experience once or twice or 5 times or 10 times or 50 times. Well, in my case, I've had a lot of bad experiences with people. Let's put it that way. Okay? But I feel like if I just say, oh, I give up, I'm never going to try. I never want to have a conversation. I never want to go on a show. I never want to do a collab. I never want to do... I'm going to end up sitting here, 70 years old, withered and gray, and only having done the same kind of content and never done anything different. And I might maybe be happy with that, but at the same time, it's a shame. I feel like it's squandered opportunity and squandered potential because I feel like I can do more than that. You know what I mean? I can do more than just be the guy that just does one thing. And for me, I wanted to take that chance. I don't know what it was. I just had a good feeling about it. I did. I legit had a good feeling that if I keep trying, something good would finally come of it. And the rest is history. I appeared on the show. It was a highly entertaining appearance. Everyone seemed to like me being a straight man to their chaos of the lolcow sphere that they cover. I immediately did another fast appearance within a couple of weeks where we had Josh Moon there. And I was talking with Josh Moon, the maker or the owner and operator of Kiwi Farms, about my thoughts about his site. And it was a fascinating interaction and interview for sure. Right. And that led into the door opening for me having someone like Keemstar as my first guest on this show, having the big explosive interview with Stuttering Craig. And we all know how that went. And, other things as well. And me, doing multiple collabs with Keno Casino, right? I ended up not doing just that, but we did gameplay of, what was it called? Chained Together. And then later on, we did some Zombies gameplay on Halloween, which was really good. I actually really like the Zombies co-op that we did. I think that that's a great game. And I'd like to maybe get back into it someday. I just don't know how or when because I don't seem to have time to do anything. So many, many awesome collabs between those guys. And that just really gave me an opportunity to be seen in a different light by people on the internet. So basically now there's 3 schools of people on the internet. One school of people are my detractors who will never be swayed. They'll always hate me. They'll always obsess over me. And they're always going to benefit by saying negative things about me. So that's literally never going to change. But now what's happened is we have 2 other categories. People who are neutral and are actually truly neutral. Looking at me now and be like, all those years that people hated on Phil, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, there's even now a 4-hour documentary on him, which we've all seen, and there's nothing really that bad in it. It's just a normal dude, kind of boring, honestly. A lot of people have said that, if ultimately the public opinion has shifted from Phil is the absolute most heinous lying lolcow ever to, he's just a normal guy who's kind of boring. I'll take the normal guy who's kind of boring. I'm okay with that. In fact, that's what I've been saying for years. If people would just see me fairly and stop throwing me in with this category of insanely chaotic, horrible lolcow people, and instead just say he's a normal dude, leave him alone, I'm happy with that because that allows me to have positive viewership, have a community of people who love what I do and are able to come by and just have that normal kind of positive social interaction. When literally most of the internet is crapping on you, you can't have that. You understand? But now public opinion has shifted to a more neutral stance. And that's all I ever wanted. Okay? If anything, because we had the Kino Casino arc, right? Leading into me reacting to my own documentary by June the King, it changed everything. It really did. And you might say, well, I don't get it because, Phil, you had very short-lived gains. You had more views and more support and all of that for like 2-3 months. And now things are kind of back to normal. But are they? Views are back to normal. I'll admit that. But you might have noticed the negative element isn't here anymore. Is that? You notice that we can all kind of hang out and talk and chill, and there's no real overhanging negative element anymore. There aren't people trying to flood the chat with trolling, and there's not people dumping on each other constantly. All that stuff is shifted to their own levels. Like, they're all doing that now on their own restreams and shit, and I don't care about those people. They don't matter. They're literally farts in the fucking wind. They just, and then they're gone. Doesn't matter what they say and do. Instead, now my community is able to enjoy each other's company without that level of intervention, harassment, whatever you want to call it, that used to always be prevalent. That's a good thing. In addition, I have gotten increased support. Even though you might say, well, I don't get it, your views are back to normal. Yes, but now people actually are being fair to me. Understand? So now, look at what I have. An amazing studio setup. The ability to play any game I want at any moment. I'm not so financially restricted that I can't even play new games unless I raise a certain amount. We're not there. We're hitting goals. We're crushing it every day. It's not even like, every once in a while. Every day we're crushing it. That is a huge turnaround, okay? I don't need to be Mr. Popular. I just need to be able to live. And now I can. That's how this whole thing came about. By Kino Casino giving me a chance to show that I'm just a normal guy, that I'm personable, that I'm rational, that I'm not some crazy freak out to scam you every moment, which is what these idiots have said for 10 years and is not true. Now I can just be a normal content creator. Is all I ever wanted, and I feel like I do deserve the amount of effort and dedication and determination and work that I put into this. I feel like I should at least be able to be treated like a normal human, and I'm glad that now that's happening. Damn. So, thank you for that. And as you can see, these last few months have been wildly successful. Whether it's getting into PC gaming the first time in over 10 years and now being able to play any PC game I want on keyboard and mouse on a high-end setup with massively increased streaming and on-demand video quality of 1440p and full 60 frames per second, co-streaming on 2 different services, which is amazing when you really think about it. Co-streaming between YouTube and Kick and getting support on both sites, getting traction in other places rather than just my usual space, right? That's amazing. Branching out, doing different kinds of content, reviving DSP Tries It, trying some political content. Now take a look at 2025, me now attempting pro wrestling commentary again for the first time in a decade, right? In my opinion, all right, things are looking very, very up. The only thing is, my level of positivity and success is not the mainstream belief system, okay? Sadly, out there are people who think to be successful, you need to be a million sub YouTuber. You need to be bringing in thousands of viewers to stream. You need to be making insane amounts of bank. I don't believe any of those 3 things, all right? I feel like to be successful, you need to love what you do. You need to have an audience that loves to see you love what you do. And then you need to find a way to make it profitable. And that's it. All right. I love live streaming. I love interacting with all of you. And I love the fact that now we have flexibility to do whatever we want. On a day, we could just sit here and talk, or we can play a game, and it can be a game from any direction, PC, console, whatever. No limitations, right? Talk about politics. We could talk about other topics. We could do pro wrestling again. We could go in any direction we want. We have that flexibility. And you're here for the ride. And you know that now there's a positive community focused around it, that we can now support each other. We can have great social experiences. It's okay to like DSP again. It's not, oh, now you're an idiot because you like DSP. The only people saying that are my idiotic, very obsessed detractors that no one cares about. The funny part is they have become the lol cows and they don't realize it. Thousands of idiots cannot look in the mirror and understand they are now object of ridicule because they are the obsessive losers here. I am not the heinous villain they made me out to be for a decade, and no one believes that anymore who has a rational mind. So we are free to now enjoy each other's company and enjoy new kinds of content, different kinds of fun, and not have to worry about any of their bullshit. How long has it been since I've directly addressed any of them about anything they've said about me? I don't need to. Literally, it's fluff. It's garbage. It's hey, another thing to say negative about Phil to try to make a buck today. Go ahead and make your buck. You're irrelevant. And the moment that I turn the camera off, you die. Get it? You just die on the vine. Done. Nothing else to sustenance. So there you go. I'm happy with how this last year went. Seriously, I had a great time. Really, a really great time. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed it as well. What a year. We started off slow. We started off pretty negative in the gaming industry with how things were going. And then what a turnaround in the second half where now it doesn't matter if games are bad or not. We have more than enough to do. Like, admittedly, let's be honest. Right now, there's not a lot going on in gaming. But I'm super busy. I've got 2 major playthroughs, a bunch of multiplayer games, chill indie games, chill, relaxing late-night streams. We've got new content coming up, year-end series, all kinds of stuff going on. I'm a busy dude. I don't need to have a bunch of big AAA games to support me and have my content be successful anymore. I can just do whatever I want. I love that freedom. I love that creative control. I really do. So thank you so very much for that. I really do appreciate that. And I thank you all for what I would argue is probably one of the most determined, dedicated, loyal fan bases I've ever seen on the internet. You guys who are still here, you stuck through it, man. You really did. And finally, like I said a few months ago, we have come out the other end of that tunnel. Have. Absolutely, we have. There's no reason to worry about the future. We're in a good position. As long as you guys keep coming by to hang out with me every day and we have fun together and you support that fun, we're good. Doesn't matter where the game industry goes. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. We're good. You can have a great time every day. Enjoy each other's company. And that's all I care about in 2025, man. Now, not to say that, oh, that means that you sit back and, you know, now everything's just roses and unicorns and rainbows. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be things that are going to be, you know, hurdles to jump over and more mountains to climb. I'm sure there will be more adversity to face. Life is like that. Whenever you feel good, all of a sudden, adversity comes and smacks you right in the face. And it's all about tackling each thing as it comes and continuing forward positively. All right? I am very excited for the future. This year, all the stuff that is to come, and I hope that you are too. I want to thank you all so much for 2024. It was a great year, in my opinion. I had a great time with it, and I'm very much looking forward to new stuff in the new year. All right. Cool. I received a $2 tip. Excited for frequency tonight. Let's find the dang killer. Yeah. So now let's briefly cover the schedule, which is going to lead us to our next topic, which is actually that tomorrow I want to play mods in Dark Souls. But honestly, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. We haven't talked about it enough to really set it up yet. So maybe we can't do it tomorrow. Maybe we got to like postpone it till like Friday. Because the whole idea was that we were going to talk about it, and now we have like 20 minutes left. Eska, how are you? 37-month member says, Happy New Year, Phil. Here's to a prosperous year and you as well. Thank you so much, Eska. Speaking of which, Let's get some support. Guys, we're $9 of support after an hour and 15 minutes of the podcast. Let's get some support going. Let's get some super chats. Let's get some subs. Let's get some memberships. Let's get some tips. Let's get some stuff up on these question marks off the freaking leaderboard. Let's get it going. All right? Let's do it. All right. Anyway. So yeah, so the one thing that we kind of have to talk about is these mods for Dark Souls that I'm interested in trying, but I don't really know what to get or do. I've gotten tons of suggestions. So can I just type in Dark Souls Nexus Mods website? So basically, I've gotten all kinds of different suggestions when it comes to like what kind of mods I should get if I'm going to do a Dark Souls run on PC. So just to go through a few of them, because I've gotten people who bring me guides and emailed me and stuff. So here's some suggestions that I got. So there's a version of Dark Souls 1. It's called Prepare to Die Again. And what it is very similar to the Scholar of the First Sin version of Dark Souls 2, where it kind of changes the game a bit to make it more challenging. All right? That could be a possibility. There's a thing called Daughters of Chaos. This is a mod that drastically changes the game and gives you kind of a fresh experience. But then there's another one called Age of Sunlight. And that's kind of the same thing as Daughters of Chaos, but it was another take, and it's a newer one. Now, I haven't played either, so I don't know. Should I do one of those? There's actually also a couple interesting graphics mods that are available. So, I don't know. Like, what should I do? If I were to play Dark Souls, should I do a randomizer? Should I do, like, for example, Age of Sunlight? Yeah, what should I do? What do you guys think? What would you want to see out of a mod of Dark Souls? Would you want a complete random run at the game where it's like random items and random enemies? The thing is, that might not pan out to be a full playthrough. It may be a few hours and we can't advance, right? Macho Claw. You want Macho Claw in Dark Souls? I don't know about that. Oh, excuse me. Randomizer? Now, what kind of randomizer? There's enemy randomizer and there's item randomizer. Am I going to install the mods on stream? Well, I don't even have the game yet. Like, I have to buy, it's Dark Souls Remastered, right? So I have to buy and install that in order to even have mods. See, now someone like James says, stick with just the graphical mod and do a run with no armor or a weird weapon. Use a random number generator to pick the randomizer for true randomization. There's not that many randomizers. There's only a couple. Like I said, there's enemies and there's items. See, I'm excited because I've never done mods before, ever. In any game, I've never done mods, right? I think the only mod I've literally ever done was when Fallout 4 added mods on Xbox One, and I tried a few of the random ones there, like the Macho Deathclaw that just got referenced. Or I think there was like a performance mod once that I used, but for the most part, I've never done them. So, you know, this is exciting to me to say, hey, how could mods change a game and change a gaming experience and make a stream fun? Skyrim mods? Yeah, if I remember, I'm trying to remember the Skyrim stuff, but I don't remember what it was, honestly. I'm pretty sure they don't have a Minecraft mod for Dark Souls. What are you talking about? That'd be insane if they did. Make Dark Souls look like Minecraft? Now, that would be weird. Yeah, see, here's the enemy randomizer. Randomly replaces enemies and bosses in the world. Shots. End up fighting Sith in a random area for no reason. Oh my god, Nito. Where is Nito? Why is he there? Where are they right now? Why is Nito here too? Why is Gravelord Nito showing up a million times? Oh god, isn't that the last boss? Where is he? Where's he showing up? I don't know what this is. I can't even tell what this is. Again, they just keep showing Sif in random areas for no reason. What in the holy hell is this mess? Oh my god, the bone giant skeleton, that dark wraith dude, and I don't even know what the fuck that is. Is that one of the phalanx demons? All in one room? How are you supposed to fight that? How are you supposed to succeed against that? How could you possibly survive that? Now, wait a minute. Oh, so here's a question, right? If it's randomized, does that mean that every single time that you sit at the bonfire, it reshuffles? Like, let's say these enemies are in the room and you run in the room and you die. Then when you respawn, is it different enemies in the room again? Oh god, this could be insane. This could be like so wild to try to take on that. Holy shit. If that's the case, I don't really know if that's exactly what it is, but the one you played randomized at the start of the run, but not every spawn. Ah, okay. Read the read. Enemy randomizer generates a random placement of enemies to make your playthrough of Dark Souls different and more challenging. Depending on the options you choose, it's possible to, for example, fight Manus or 3 of them, the swamps of Blighttown, or pass through the fog gate in Anor Londo to see a puny hollow and a painting guardian instead of Ornstein and Smaug. It is now possible to also configure what enemies are replaced into the world by the randomizer. It's possible to disable enemies from spawning or allowing the randomizer to spawn certain enemies that are disabled by default, like ghosts. This feature, yeah, because that makes sense. You don't want to fight. The ghost can only be killed by your using, the special thing, the item, so you don't want to have to fight them if you can't defeat them. The feature can also be used for more interesting purposes. One can disable all enemy types except one, make the randomizer replace all enemies' bosses with that one enemy. You can just turn everything into a Gwyn. You know, however, that this is still a kind of early version of the mod. It does have issues. Well, it came out in 2019, so you had 5 years to refine it. What's up, Game Boy? How are you today? Mimics only. Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, this is one to try, but I feel like this would not work. Oh look, remastered as opposed to Prepare to Die edition. Well, I'll be playing remastered. I feel like this would be fun for a stream, but I don't see how that could ever work as a playthrough. Because what if you end up with Gwyn as the second enemy in the game and you can't get past him, right? You know what I mean? Or Gwyn is the first boss. Well, you'll never level up enough to beat him. So then your playthrough soft lock. So we've got that. I definitely want to do the graphics mod for sure. Like, it would make sense to do the graphics mod. So hold on. One of them was called Age of Sunlight, it was called? Age of Sunlight. Gameplay overhaul. Age of Sunlight is a gameplay overhaul. Prepare to Die. Oh, it only works for Prepare to Die edition. Well, I'm going to be getting remastered. Makes changes to nearly every aspect with the goal of creating a unique and more polished experience. Well, that's the version for Dark Souls Remastered can be found here, so it does exist. You can get it for Dark Souls Remastered. Okay. Look, enhanced controls. Bosses have new attacks and second phases. Bonfires are added and reorganized. Less tedious runbacks. Changes to poise. Streamlined process for upgrading weapons. You only need one boss item, like a specific item, to level a boss weapon instead of having to get it to plus 10. That's interesting. Farming is less tedious. New weapons, spells. Oh, that's cool. It's like a whole new game. Ensure you're playing offline to avoid being soft banned. Escanor says most enemy randomizers will have a setting. It'll scale enemies to your location, so that way it won't be as bad. Like, it'll still be playable. So when is it starting? I said I was going to start it as early as tomorrow. But if we really need to work through this and figure it out, like I need to buy the game and install it, and then we need to get mods and install them for what we want to do. And we don't have time. We have like 5-10 minutes left on the show today, so there's no way we have time to do it today. So maybe we postpone. All right. Maybe tomorrow we'll do another Indiana Jones stream now that we're in the Himalayas, make more progress there. And then maybe we save this for Friday. Maybe Friday we do Dark Souls mods on the first stream, and then Friday Night Fights, more Street Fighter on the late stream. I'd be okay with that. Because we don't have to, we didn't set it up yet. And I don't want to promise this, and then, let's do it, and then we have to start doing it, and now it cuts into the game time. I want to play the game. Boy, sorry. Maybe do this during the daily wrap. Well, the thing is, I need your live feedback, too, on what you want. Like, for example, should we try the Age of Sunlight? Does that sound fun? Should we? Obviously, I want to do a graphical upgrade, and it seems like there's a couple different suggestions of ones you can. Where is this one? Dark Souls Remastered mod. It's 624. It's supposed to be graphics one. Not found. Oh, it's 642. I had it wrong. Dark Souls remastered. Textures were AI upscaled and ported from Prepare to Die edition. Dynamic shadows added to the whole game. Parallax occlusion mapping added. Baked lighting removal where needed. Fixes hundreds of bugs from the 2011 release. Aims to restore Prepare to Die edition lighting. Better distant meshes, better water reflections, new landscape mesh. Right? So new dynamic lighting. Yeah, see? Adjust the depth of field. It's going to make it look much better. Yeah, do not play online. So all these mods basically say do not play online. Always play offline. Okay. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not tired. I'm just yawning this morning for some odd reason. Weird. Bam Kutzai says, I would recommend asking someone who has done this before to guide you through the installation process. And Battleduck says, yes, first-time modding could be just as frustrating, if not even more, than your mic boom setup. But you see what I mean? Like, we need time to do it. I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, we're doing it. And then we turn on the stream. Well, none of the mods are installed yet. Let's install the mods. And the entire stream becomes installing the mods instead of playing the game. I think that would piss people off, including me. So I want time to do it properly. Maybe what we do tomorrow's podcast is the Dark Souls mod podcast, where we go here, we download the game, download the mods we want, we install the mods, we get it working, so that way we can play it on Friday. What the fuck? Sure, another electric Toyota. All right, I'm just gonna say this about electric cars because I already have, but I'll say it again. All right, that's not the podcast. I like the idea of electric cars. I really do. If we could get rid of fossil fuels, great. The problem is, once again, humans, what we're doing is we're rushing forward at a careening pace before the infrastructure is ready. I'll give you an example. You're going to get a kick out of this one. Okay. I live in Washington State. We are one of the most progressive, left-leaning states in the entire country when it comes to political thought and stuff like that. So our government actually is trying to outlaw fossil fuel cars, saying if you want to drive a vehicle in a few years, you can only buy an electric vehicle. Okay? It's good intentions. But last year during the winter, all right, all of a sudden, a big alert came out from our electric company. You want to know what the alert was? Whatever you do, stop using electricity. Turn anything off you don't need, cut back on it, because the grid is an amazing amount of stress right now, middle of the winter. And we're at risk of having a major failure or actually running out of electricity. So please do all you can do to conserve electricity. I want you to think about this. We are currently in the early stages of adopting electric vehicles. We don't have a ton of them yet, but everyone's leaning that way, and our government is trying to outlaw fossil fuel cars. But the companies that generate electricity are saying at certain times of the year, we don't have enough electricity now. So what's going to happen if all of a sudden no one can drive fossil fuel cars anymore and everyone has to get an electric car? We don't even have the grid that can support it, but we're outlawing what we're doing now. How the fuck does that make any sense? Does it make any sense at all? Like, I'm all for going to clean alternatives. Really. I want to have clean air. I want to stop using fossil fuels, but can we do it in a method that makes sense, that doesn't screw over humanity? Oh, you can't drive anymore in a fossil fuel car, but now no one has electricity. The grid just got shot, so now no one can do anything. That sounds like a good idea. Why is no one using their fucking brains out here? Why are everyone's with emotion? Oh, the earth is being destroyed and all of that. So let's just outlaw everything. How about we rationally tackle the problems in a method that we can do it step by step in the proper method? I don't care if by 2060, 2070, all we drive are electric cars out here, but let's improve the grid first so it can support that level of electric use and drain. Why are we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot. People want to move forward too fast, too quick before we're ready for it. I know people are like, DS politics returned. Well, it's just something that's a pet peeve of mine. Like I said, it reminds me of when I moved out here, okay, in 2014. So I lost my health insurance that I had when I lived in Connecticut because I had left Connecticut and I was moving to Washington State. When I moved out here and I tried to get health insurance, the entire system was broken. Why? Because President Obama, had redone the American healthcare system, now Obamacare, right? That's great. More people can get health insurance. It's less expensive. It's free for some people who can't afford it, etc. Except there was no infrastructure. So I'm not kidding. I moved out here and I contacted the people to get insurance. I filled out the forms. I sent them in. I never heard back. 6 months later, I contacted them. What happened? Do I have insurance? Do I not? No, you don't have insurance. What do you mean? I did everything that I was told to do. I sent you everything. Oh, well, the form just sat in this queue and no one really prompted to look at it. So it's a good thing you called us today. Now we'll start taking action on it, but we need more information from you to qualify. Why didn't you tell me this 6 months ago? Because we just weren't set up. We don't know really what we're doing. I'm serious. That's what happened. That's what I was told. So if I had gotten sick, if I'd broken a leg or anything, I would have had no health insurance and I would have not been able to get care. Or I would have gotten the care and received an insanely high bill for medical care that I wouldn't have been able to afford and would have been financially ruining. But Obamacare, let's rush it out there. But there's no infrastructure for it. There's no one hired to handle it. People are going to be submitting for it, and their applications will sit in a queue for 6 months, and no one will look at it. Who cares? Just launch it because Obama said so. That's our American government. It's pathetic. It really is. So, anyway, that's what annoys me about it. So I see all these electric vehicle ads, and they actually drive me nuts. They do. Like, dude, you don't want everyone to get electric vehicles. If they did, overnight our grid would be overloaded, and then we'd have no electricity. We need to prepare for it slowly. Let's do an infrastructure upgrade in the next 5 to 10 years to change it so that we can now have the capacity for all these electric vehicles. Who's looking into that? No one. No one is. We'll just handle it when it happens. Instead of preparing for the inevitable issue, just deal with it when it happens, right? Well, that really worked during COVID, didn't it? That was the best response possible. But we don't learn. Humanity doesn't learn from error, apparently. We don't learn from history. We just repeat the same errors, and history repeats itself over and over again. I received a $1 tip. Someone says, here's a quick one. I'm hovering over the purchase button for Black Ops 6. It's on sale, so I'm asking you, is it worth it? Depends on what you're looking for in the game. First of all, even though people crap on Call of Duty every year, ultimately it is one of the best values for the dollar, and here's what I mean. When you buy Black Ops 6, you are receiving a campaign. You are receiving standard multiplayer. You are receiving zombies co-op, and you are receiving Warzone Battle Royale. You're receiving a tremendous amount of products for the price tag that you're paying. Okay? So, you're getting a big deal. You really are. You're getting a big deal compared to what you get from other games these days. All right? Now, the question is, out of the 4 things I mentioned, what are you going to play? Are you going to play all 4 modes? Are you only interested in one? Like, for me, I'm always interested in the standard multiplayer. Now, there's some times that I will do the Battle Royale or I will do those zombies, but for the most part, I just play the standard multiplayer, okay? The other question is, if you're on the fence about it, why are you buying it? Just get Game Pass for a month. Get Game Pass right now, play the game for a month, see if you like it. Like it, then buy it. If you don't like it, you only spent like $15 and now there's no skin off your back. You didn't spend $70. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you buy it outright when it's on a subscription service where you can test it? That's what I would suggest. Don't just run and do an impulse buy. Go get it for a month, do your demo trial, see if you like it, and then buy it if you're committed to it. There you go. All right. Any last minute stuff? I have other stuff I want to show you guys. Like, for example, for the first time ever, I actually bought one of those air gun things that you can actually clean stuff with. So I'm going to be using this to clean my new PCs, every couple months. I think what you do is you just this, I think. Where? Well, that's strong. Holy shit. That was way stronger than I expected it to be. Holy mackerel. Whoa. Okay, you can lower it too. It's like a jet engine. Holy shit, that thing's powerful as hell. Whoa. So I'm like wondering, how do I do it? Like my PCs now have on certain sides, they have removable filters. Like my gaming PC, the back filter comes off, and I think there's a filter on the bottom that comes off. Those I can just take off and blast like this, right, to clean. But you don't want to blow the air into your PC, correct? So would I have to do it from the inside out? Like go from the inside of the PC and blow the dust out of the vent, like out of the case? I gotta figure out how to do it. What do you mean canned air is a lot better? You see how powerful this shit is? Yeah, that's really strong. It's a really strong blast. You want to vacuum it, not blow? This is not a vacuum. This like canned air is not a vacuum. What are you talking about? Do not let your fan blade spin. Turn off the computer when you do it. Okay, so make sure the computer's completely off. All right. See, I need advice. I mean, I've had this gaming PC since August, so it's probably due for a cleaning. And I'm trying to figure out how to do it. So I just turn it completely off, power it down, take the sides off, and then what? Blast this out the sides, like all around the case, just from the side out. You know, vent system or whatever. What's also cool about this, it's so strong. Give you these other attachments. Let me show you. Find them here. So these attachments, what? Do you see what I just did? I put them up to the microphone. These attachments apparently are to inflate things. So you can put these on it and then put it into like a balloon or an inflatable mattress or whatever. It'll actually blow that up too for you. So that's how good and strong this is that it can inflate things around the house that you need to inflate. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know how that works. Like, I don't know how you use this to tie a balloon or whatever, but apparently you can. And it came with a bunch of brushes and stuff to clean. You know, if you're already blowing, you can use a brush to like dust off the vents and stuff like that. And it even has a tube. Find it. It has a tube that also has a brush on it. So I guess as you're blowing, you can have that and it like loosen the dust and then blow the dust out, right? If you blow the fans, make sure not to cause them to spin, that you can damage the fan. So I should hold the fan in place. So hold the fan with your finger as you're blowing. Make sure they don't spin. Okay. I'll have to figure this out. This is something I definitely need to do soon. Like I said, heading into a new year here, a new attitude. I mean, when have you ever heard me about cleaning my talk about cleaning my setup and shit, right? So I need to do that for sure. Okay. All right, we got to end the show so we can start playing Stalker. I got a couple more quick shout outs to do. Guys, let's get some support going, please, today for the streams. All right. Obviously, now we're at 39. We want to hit 40. We want to lock into DSP Tries It this Friday. And then we want to start working towards doing this marathon event. I'm excited for the marathon. I really want to do a fun one for you. So let's get it going. All right. So we got a couple tips. Let's take a look. All right. So, okay. The person who had asked about the consoles had said, I don't have the option of Game Pass because I'm on PS5. So there you go. If you don't have the option of Game Pass and you can't test Call of Duty, well, then hopefully what I've told you about a lot helps you make your decision. It is a great value for it really is. But the question is, are you going to play all 4 of those modes or not? Someone tipped $1 and said, let's listen to this. Rich did a 12-hour stream on New Year's Eve. Boy, Rich does not fucking have any kind of a life, does he? He sat there for 12 hours streaming on New Year's. Fuck, dude. What is your problem? Anyone even care? 12 hours? Can you imagine watching that guy for 12 hours? But the kicker is, he perfectly timed your incident with Midnight. Is he a lost soul? I think at this point, can we be honest? I think the reason he does it is because he knows talk about him for. Like, let's be honest. If Rich did not have an unhealthy obsession with me, okay, and talk about me all day on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and still be talking about my incident in 5, almost 10 years after the fact, would anyone care about Review Tech USA? Like, he's pertinent because he's a train wreck. Get it? Like, that's literally the shtick now. There used to be a point when people watched him because they liked his takes on games or tech, and then people liked his takes on the news or politics. Now, people watch him train wreck. Hence why he had to start taking his shirt off and sucking cucumbers and cocks and joke. And now it's just at this point, if he stopped with the things that he gets called insane for, I don't know if anyone would ever give a fuck about the guy ever again. He might just become not pertinent to anyone and get no views and not be talked about and make no money. So maybe, I think at this point, I think he's literally doing it to get that cheap, lowbrow attention from morons who think that it's like legit. I think that, to be fair, I do believe that he is smarter than maybe some people give him credit for. It's just that he has absolutely no fucking shame at all. Like, zero shame. All right? So to him, ha, 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 it's funny that I'm doing these things and I'm making a buck. To everyone else looking at him, you're like, dude, you look pathetic. You look like a loser. You look like a complete waste of fucking time and life. What are you doing? To him, it's like, ha, ha, I acted like a jackass on stream for 12 hours and I made money today. But no one's laughing but him. That's what he doesn't understand. Like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't. He just doesn't get it. It's pretty sad. Okay. All right, folks. It is time to end the show. It's time for us to move forward positively in 2025. Wait, I got another tip. Got one more tip. We're just about to end it. My mic is cutting out a bit. Okay. I wonder why. Is it now? It might have just been bad positioning. Keep in mind, again, we're still tweaking it. For the most part, I think it was all right. I'm sorry it cut out a few times. We got to try to find the commonality of why it's cutting out. If I just did an almost 2-hour show and it only just cut out at the end, what's the commonality? What caused it to do it? Right now, it sounds fine, right? So I wonder what's making it cut out. AMS says, I think it was a one-off. I didn't hear it most of the stream. Battle Duck says, maybe because you're facing the webcam. I don't know. Listen, I haven't changed anything, right? The only thing I did is I turned on the air gun. That's it. It cut out a bit when you said end. When I said at the end, the word end got cut off. Huh. I wonder. I don't know. Again, we'll keep messing with it. Maybe we can find a better position for it. If I could move it even closer, I would, but then I would have to have the table like on me. That, or it would have to be right in my mouth, in which case it's going to block the shot. It's going to block the background, right? Yeah, very possibly maybe the air gun screwed up the filter. So I don't know. I don't know how the filter could continuously have the issue though. That's a little weird. Anyway, hopefully it sounds good. I'm about to reposition it regardless because we're about to start with Stalker. So it's going to be over here now. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Wow. I received a $5 super chat. I was just about to end the show from Kudo. It says, Happy New Year, Phil. I can't believe it's been watching since Heavy Rain. That was 15 years ago. It's insane. Here's to 15 more. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Here's to 15 more. Thank you, Kudo. You're the first super chatter of the day. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. Now, who's going to be the first member bomb gifter and who's going to be the first sub gifter? We haven't had any subs or memberships yet today. Let's get some of those going and get the momentum rolling, shall we? All right. All right, folks. Let's end the show. Thank you so much for watching the Level 1 Podcast, the first episode of... I received a $1 tip. It started sounding weird and cutting off after you use the air. The high-frequency noise has messed with the mic. Is it still doing it? Hold on. Going to attempt to reset stuff. I also realized I had to restart the computer yesterday and I didn't reopen the microphone app. And I don't know if that means the filters are running or not. I just reopened the microphone app right now. So maybe now new filters are running that weren't even on before. It's very possible. I forgot. Remember last night I had some technical issues. So I had to restart the PC, but that might have reset the filters actually. I had to reopen the microphone app. Well, I just did. Okay. All right. Skiznalit, thank you so much. Skiznalit becoming an ultra supporter here this morning. Appreciate that very, very much. So that's a real one. That's a legit real one. Now, the thing is, I have no concept how much I keep out of each membership. I forget about this. But I remember I looked into it ages ago. The way it works on YouTube, the higher level membership, the more I keep. So if it's a standard membership, it's $4 and I keep 3. For a super membership, I think it's 10 and I keep like $7.50. But then I think for the ultra membership, it's 20 and I think I keep like 15. But it's been so long, I don't really remember. Thank you. Skiznalit just dropped a 10 member bomb. Thank you so much, Skiznalit. Happy New Year to you. So that is $30 of support right there. It's $3 per membership. So thank you, Skiznalit. Everyone who's getting a membership right now, please enjoy all the fun emotes. And thank you, Skiznalit. I'm pretty sure the Ultra membership counts for $15. So I'm going to count it for that. I'll have to look it up later, but I'm almost positive I get 15 out of the 20. So we're going to count it as 15 because that's a brand fresh new one that I know is counting right now. So we'll say I'm at $64 of support. Thank you, Skiznalit, for all that support right there. Very much appreciated. Okay, let us end the show. I keep trying to end the show and more contributions come in. Thank you so much for a great first episode of the new year. Moving forward, this year will be a very positive, exciting one. And I hope to see you all on my various streams, whether I'm playing games, podcasting, talking wrestling, talking politics, and whatever else comes my way. Thank you for watching the Level 1 Podcast. Thank you for an amazing and awesome year. And I will see you tomorrow. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.